Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. I hope you are having a great day. In today's stories, OP is sick of her sister always sabotaging her milestones, so when OP's wedding day arrives, and her sister tries to do that again, OP knows exactly what to do. Am I the idiot for shouting at my sister while she's on her deathbed? My, 26, female, sister Nancy, 39, female, and I have had a strained relationship for as long as I can remember. For a bit of background, Nancy's parents were my late aunt and uncle, who passed away in a car accident when she was 6 and my parents adopted her. Growing up, I realized that she got more love and care than I did, but I just wrote it off because I didn't want to blame her for her trauma or how she handles triggers. When I was a teen, I got tired of her always needing to trump my accomplishments or be the center of attention. I finished high school when I was 16, and after I received my matric results, my parents planned a big party for me, but the week before, Nancy fell down a flight of stairs and my party had to be cancelled. As I was sitting in the waiting room with my parents, I had an epiphany and realized that a lot of her accidents coincidentally happened when something big was planned for me. For example, a month before my 21st birthday, which was going to be spent on a cruise, she started having dizzy spells, and a few days before, she fell off the roof as she was trying to patch a few leaks. Rightfully, I was upset, and my parents lashed out at me for being selfish when my sister got injured trying to do something to help them. When I graduated with my MBA at 22, she became very sick after eating shellfish, which everyone knows she is deathly allergic to. The day after my partner proposed, she got into an accident while driving on a sunny day with great road conditions, saying that she didn't see a light pole or something. He threw me a surprise engagement party, and guess who accidentally ate prawns and was rushed to the hospital halfway through the party? To avoid any drama at my wedding, my partner and I decided to elope with a few friends, and it was the first time something was all about me, for once. My parents were bitter about not being part of wedding celebrations, so we planned a reception type thing for friends and family on our second anniversary. My dad will walk me down the aisle and my mom will do the something old thing, etc. They had been buzzing with excitement and looking forward to the wedding. The event is this coming weekend and guests have already started flying in as they want to celebrate the whole week and treat it as a reunion of sorts. But like every other big moment of my life, I am writing this post sitting in the hospital waiting room because Nancy apparently had a big psychotic break because her boyfriend dumped her in February, so there's a psychiatrist admitting her for 21 days as he believes she's a danger to herself. My parents are trying to talk me into postponing because it would be heartless of me to celebrate while my sister is cuffed to a bed for the next 3 weeks. I had a meltdown of my own and told my sister that if she wanted to go to heaven that desperately, could she not have done it when we were younger so I could be spared from all her drama? And now there's a handful of family members who are calling me a cruel bridezilla for taking my stress out on my sister when she's so unwell. I told all of them that I would be proceeding with the wedding as a lot of time and money had already gone into it, and they're welcome to mope around the hospital to support my sister. They told me that I was unfair for making them have to choose between a party and my sister who is on her deathbed. Edit. I know she isn't on her deathbed. Any sane person reading this post knows so she's not on her deathbed. But to my family, this is a life or death situation because only God knows what they'll do to her in there, and they're especially incensed by the very limited visitation because they're convinced the psychiatrist is doing it so she can get pumped full of medication and so the hospital can make money, yada yada yada. OP gave more information in the comments. I have already spoken to the psychiatrist assigned to her, hence the very long psychiatric hold. That's just another thing that pissed my family off because they felt I did that to be spiteful, even after I pulled out every receipt and date I could think of, spanning the past 15 years. They just tell themselves, and everyone who will listen, that because she has such a traumatic history, any big events or stresses might trigger something or another that leads to her getting hurt. Funny enough, she's never gotten hurt before any of her milestones and is fit as a fiddle at each celebration that's for her. I googled the disorder, borderline personality disorder, as well as some other syndrome a lot of people mentioned, and it felt like a light bulb literally went off above my head with how many things suddenly made sense. I presented to her psychiatrist after he heard what I said to her, and my parents, as usual, just brushed it off as her just being overwhelmed by big changes and thus being more prone to stress, leading to her accidents. I'm genuinely trying to remove myself from the whole situation, but there's still a part of me that wanted my parents on my side just once, and that part is very hard to let go of. This is just something else I'll have to talk to my own therapist about next session. She's done it so many times, knowingly eating something she's deathly allergic, that the EpiPens aren't as effective as they used to be, and she now has to be rushed to the hospital and get tubes put down her throat and stuff. It's the most unbelievable thing you will ever see. It just feels like so much has happened in a relatively short space of time, and I probably am very emotional and easily triggered now. A lot of my cousins have distanced themselves from her because she'd pull similar stunts before or during their weddings, gender reveals, etc. Oh. I gave birth in March last year, and at that time, she fainted in the delivery room, and I got smacked from my dad for allowing her to see something so gruesome, when I know she's fragile. Just typing that out made me laugh a bit because it's just so unfathomable, lol. I'm actually thinking of asking one of my older cousins to walk me down the aisle, and I have heirlooms from my late gran that I can use as my something old, so I'm starting to feel like I don't even really need my parents there. Wow, OP. This is a very odd situation. At first, when you started telling us about your sister's accident history, I thought you were exaggerating. That it was really just a coincidence, that they happened close to your big events. But the more you told us, the more I was surprised that no one else, in this case your parents, also made that association. Maybe they didn't realize it, maybe they did, but they chose to ignore it, because they couldn't believe that she would deliberately do something like that, just to spoil your celebrations. Yes, I know there are people that get triggered because of stress, and become clumsy and forgetful, consequently having accidents. But that usually happens when there is something big happening with them, not with their relatives, unless, maybe, if it is something bad, which it wasn't in OP's case. I think that after you decided to elope in the first time, because of this particular reason, and then she having another crisis so close to your wedding celebration, if I were your parents, I would at least reflect on what you've been said, and try to remember the other times this happened and how many of those crises were close to your milestones. But they don't even bother to do that. And from what you said in the comments, it's not just with you that she did something like this, with other family members as well. Do you know if she ever did that with friends? Classmates? Co-workers? Was the reason her boyfriend broke up with her? Oh, is she going, or did she go to therapy? If not, she must start immediately. It's time to find out why your sister does this, if it's intentional or if it's her subconscious making her hurt herself to turn the attention all to herself. Why she feels this need to always be the center of attention, even when she shouldn't be. But no, OP, you're not the idiot. Oh, and good luck on your wedding anniversary celebration. I hope it's great. And hope everything works out with your family. And what do you guys think? What would you do if you were OP? Leave your comments down below. Now let's read the comments before going to the update. Why are you still in contact with any of these toxic people? It's very hard unlearning the whole family is everything thing that has been drilled into my head for as long as I can remember. I have always had the stupid hope that things would be better. Hindsight is 20/20, but I wish you would have called it right before any of these events. When I graduate, she will have some emergency. When we have our wedding, she will try to grab the attention somehow. They can't think this is all a coincidence. Plus, this is the reason you eloped in the first place. I don't know how they don't see it. Not the idiot, oh come on, how can your parents not see the pattern? She had an accident right before any big event for you. Once or twice is one thing. But it's repeatedly. You told your sister that you wish she was dead. You are the idiot for that. Not the idiot for the rest of it. Cut all contact with her, don't tell her you want her dead, because it honestly sounds like she would do it if it meant spitting you. Your sister is a drama queen and your parents are her flying monkey attendants. Deathbed? What the F? She's on psychiatric hold, which is hardly a deathbed. Please go no contact with these people. Who knows what antics she will pull when you are in labor trying to deliver your first child. Not the idiot. Not the idiot. Your sister is a nutcase. Your parents have been enabling her behavior for years. Continue to have your wedding and best wishes to you. Good luck. Info: have you and Nancy completed 23andMe, or something similar? She not like, secretly, your biological mother, is she? This exact thing crossed my mind a few years ago because I genuinely couldn't understand why she hated me so much, but she was 13 when I was born and there are quite a few pictures of my mom pregnant with me and stuff. Oh, and I hope you are enjoying the video so far. If so, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notifications to know when a new video is out. Now let's go to the update. Update. First, my sister tried to discharge herself by signing a refusal of hospital treatment, which wasn't successful, and she apparently had a whole meltdown and hurt one of the staff members, so she had to be sedated and restrained. After I heard about this, I decided to call her psychiatrist up again and told him that this is part of her modus operandi. She'll get hurt, and then once she's gotten enough attention or something of mine has been cancelled, she'll then get herself discharged because she's miraculously feeling better. And I think that's what she was banking on now, but what she didn't consider is that psychiatric hospitals operate very differently from regular hospitals. I also think she realized that for the first time, her plan wasn't working and I'd still be celebrating something and tried getting out so she could physically disrupt the ceremony, but oh well. The day after I made the post, I took the suggestion quite a few people made and created a whole spreadsheet of the incidents. I went through the discharge papers my parents still had at their house and went through a deep dive of my iCloud to find old pictures and stuff of special moments in my life and then compared all the dates. Lo and behold, there were 11 special moments and 10 discharge papers, all with eerily close dates, from a few years before my 16th birthday to now. I showed this list to my parents and nothing. They decided to stick to their guns, telling me that my sister has always been clumsy and the stress of big events would obviously make her more prone to getting hurt. I then asked them why she never had any accidents before or after her own milestones, like her graduation or her engagement party, and I didn't get an answer. I felt my heart break into a million pieces and decided to just cut my losses because I really was talking to walls. I then told them that I was okay with them not attending the wedding ceremony they had guilted me into having and that I had enough people who truly loved me there to support me. I also told the other flying monkeys in the family that they had my permission to stay away and go sit in the hospital, waiting on someone who currently isn't allowed to have any visitors. I then switched my phone off so that I could focus on getting ready for Saturday, and all communication had to go through my partner, who was filtering out everything before it reached me. The ceremony started off great and I actually don't regret doing it, even though I didn't want it in the first place. It felt so darn good to see relatives and friends I hadn't seen in a while. Halfway through, my parents arrived and my dad started talking to other relatives about how disappointing it was that he didn't get to walk me down the aisle a second time and how he didn't raise me to be so selfish by celebrating things while my own sister is probably chained to a bed with no one there to support her. My relatives then talked him into leaving and I didn't hear about his tantrum until this morning, which I'm very grateful for. My relatives also had to deal with a friend of my sister's turning up to the reception in a white dress, but the joke was on her because I was in a modern traditional Basotho dress and I still fully stood out as the bride. Right now, I honestly just feel numb and defeated. And it feels like I've lost my family even though they were never really family. It hurts to be in this situation and a part of me is mourning what could have been or what I deserved but never got. A lot of people told me that going no contact is never easy and I think it's finally starting to sink in. But a lot of people also told me to focus on the good. I have a lot of good things going for me now, and I should be in the moment. This might not be the dramatic update people were expecting, but that's all there is for now. Well, OP, I was hoping for a better update, but unfortunately, it is what it is. I'm sorry about your parents' behavior at your wedding, but I'm glad you had people who sheltered you from the mess, and you and your husband could enjoy your celebration without any problems. And from what you told in your update, now we know for sure that your sister is very aware of what she has been doing to everyone over the years. And when she attempted to leave the hospital, it was her trying to sabotage you again, but at least this time, she was stopped. Maybe no/low contact with your parents, it's better at the moment. Perhaps you all need some time away from each other, so they get a new perspective, and maybe in the future, they'll realize you are right. But I also hope, OP, that your sister gets the help she needs. She has a serious problem, and she could not only become a risk to herself, but also to others. All the best, OP. And what did you guys think of all this? Have you know or heard of someone like OP's sister? How would you act if you were also going through something similar? Don't forget to leave your comment. And that's it for today, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it. If so, go watch one of the videos that is appearing on the screen right now, or go check one of our playlists that are in the description to watch more videos. Until next time.